What's up, Sports Entertainment Network? It's your boy Mike Kief here with S.E.N, bringing you another controversial episode of Offseason Questions, in which we go over whether or not we feel more comfortable going into this season at a specific group as opposed to last year. This group is going to be very controversial because I'm sure everybody has their own idea of who they feel is better, and so this is just my 2 cents. Going over the list, I was able to pick 9 people that I felt like were going to make the team. Big group, 4 positions, so you got to have at least 2 at each position and one guy who can kind of go around. So going in, we have Taco Charlton, which is our first overall pick, so he's as sure of a lock as it gets. Whether or not he plays right or left side is still up in the air. They're trying to give him every opportunity in the world to do the right side, but I still feel like he's better suited at the left, so that's just me. DeMarcus Lawrence, somebody who has had a very up and down career. He's had 2 years that have been really derailed by injury, going over his rookie and then his third year. His second year, he was able to do real good and collect 8 sacks, but he was the number 2 pass rusher whenever they had Greg Hardy on the other side, so you never really know if that was just a one-year wonder type deal or whether or not that is what we need to look from him. It's just injuries that have been keeping him back. Tyrone Crawford, somebody who hasn't lived up to the contract, $45 million. He's been injured a lot. He's never really seized that 3 technique spot either, so it was real easy to move him around last year because he wasn't. His solid play could go anywhere on the line. It's not like he was exceptional at 3 technique to where we have to keep him here. So that's something that you don't really want to see in Tyrone Crawford. So him and DeMarcus have a lot to prove this year, especially coming into contract years, if I do believe so. Malik Collins, somebody who is a very big riser in my eyes, had 5 sats last year. He's going to continue to get opportunities at the 3 technique. I want to see him get more snaps, continue to show what he did last year, and he could be a guy who is a possible Pro Bowler here in 2-3 years. So, David Irving, somebody who showed a lot at the end of last year. Don't really know where he plays necessarily besides the left end, and we got Taco there, so he'll be part of a rotation. Would like to see him, Taco, Collins, and Crawford maybe put in some way on the defensive line to put our 4 best pass rushers on at one time. So David Irving, he's also coming into the season possibly on a 4-game suspension, so definitely Taco's going to get the opportunity to start there. I think DeMarcus Lawrence is going to start, so that leaves David Irving having to fight for his job again this year and have to continue to show what he was showing at the end of last year. Cedric Thornton, a guy who they brought in a couple years ago, or last year, from Philly. Didn't really show a lot last year, kind of banged up last year too. Cowboys really didn't see much out of him. That's why they brought in Stephen Paya, or Paya. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, so don't shoot me. He's going to give Cedric Thornton. Those 2 are going to be your 1 techniques. Benson Mayowa then, who was your leading sack getter last year. You want to see him. He was somebody who came over from the Raiders. Didn't really get a lot of playing time there, so it was good to see him get some playing time last year. He really picked it up as the season progressed. So you want to see him get a couple more snaps and see if last year same as DeMarcus Lawrence 2 years ago, was a fluke, or whether or not he can continue to build on that. So I'm really interested to see what Benson does. DeMontre Moore, somebody who they brought in to be a rotation guy who was in the rotation at Seattle. If he can play like he did there, that would be really good. He is somebody who is kind of on the roster bubble, so he really has to show a lot. If I was going over some stuff about OTAs, and they said that he was the only one who was actually able to get a move on Tyron Smith at a point, because he realized that you can't let Tyron get his hands on you, because then at that point it's already over. So it was nice to see that he has that veteran savvy, the smarts to him there, to where he might be able to win a job just off of his football knowledge. And then somebody who is definitely on the bubble, but I think could be a really big X factor, and if you listen to a lot of other Cowboys commentators, they're very high on him as well, is Charles Tapper. He's a guy who we drafted last year in the 4th round. He ran like a 4.5. Pretty sure he's from Oklahoma. A guy who got to practice like, I think it was 13 days last year. But in that 13 days, Rod Marinelli was already falling in love with him because of the type of guy he is. So really want to see more out of Charles Tapper. There indications coming out of camp is that he's healthy and everything's moving along just fine. There are no setbacks, so definitely Charles Tapper is going to be somebody to keep an eye on, I feel like. As opposed to last year, I feel like this group has a lot more potential. Last year I was, not just me, but we were very gloomy about the outlook of the defensive line last year. Didn't really know where we were going to get our sacks from, especially coming after the year that they had before, whenever Tony was out. But with the addition of Ezekiel Elliott, it took a lot of pressure off the defense last year, which was proven back in 2014 with DeMarco Murray. If we can win the time of possession on offense, it takes a load off of our defense to where they're a lot fresher. They're on the field less. So if the offense can be the offense, which I'm pretty sure that they can, our defense can go ahead, go in fresh. This group has a lot of potential. I'm very excited about it. I think your day one starters, as I've already gone over, Taco and I want to say DeMarcus Lawrence, but I don't know if they're going to end up sliding Tyrone Crawford over to left end or right end. I don't. You know Tyrone Crawford is going to be on the field just because of his contract, so it's not necessarily going to be your 4 best. I could really see them going Taco, DeMarcus, Malik at the 1, or Cedric Thornton at the 1, and bring in Tyrone Crawford at the 3 technique. Just because they want Tyrone Crawford to succeed, because they don't want to be wrong about the contract that they gave him. So if they were going to put their 4 best out there, I feel like it would be Taco, DeMarcus, Malik Collins, and possibly Stephen Paya. He's a veteran. He can really clog up the gaps. He's played for Rod Marinelli before, I believe. So hopefully that, but it didn't really work out a couple years ago whenever we brought in, what was his name? He was Henry Melton. It didn't really work out there, so you don't know. Defensive line, though, on the up and up. Time to go ahead and wrap this up. If you would, please like, comment, and subscribe. Definitely comment. I want to hear y'all's opinions on everything. I want to see who y'all have as y'all starting for defensive line, and see how close I am to y'all. So, till next time, S.E.N. Peace.